Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free impartial advice on all your debt. This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Tony Bellew.
Hi, Cougs. All right, there. Cracking on. Did you even ask how I was? No, you said you were delighted to be joined by me. Thank you very much.
What a cheery soul you are at times, Tony.
I'm very, very well worded at times. I have me moments.
We know you're obviously very good friends with Usyk-Chisora. So how much of your willingness for him to win kind of gets, let's say, confused with...
Does it get in the way?
Get in the way of you actually believing he's going to win?
He's going to win. So that's how much it gets in the way. I do weigh things up, and I do understand why Usyk is an overwhelming favourite. Yes, I do get that, but you know, people need to look inside the man sometimes and understand the circumstances and weigh up all the options of what can happen. And this is heavyweight boxing, so you know, this is one man's first real venture into a new division. It's one fighter's chance to really open himself up to the markets. This is Usyk-Chisora's world title fight. So to Alexander Usyk, this is just another fight where he has to go out there and prove to people that, you know, he's a heavyweight. And he didn't take too kindly to being called not the strongest cruiserweight, did he? As he touched on, asked Tony Bellew how strong I am. I can openly admit to how strong he is. He's so strong at making me exhausted. That's what he's so strong at. He's a strong boy, mate. He's a strong boy, but this is a different division, different time.
How much has Chisora or his career kind of changed since that Caballero defeat in Monaco 3 years ago?
Different time, prepared in different ways, living a completely different lifestyle. Grown up a fair bit as well. Has learned from the setbacks since then as well, because he's had more setbacks since the Caballero fight. You know, you have to go into the Dillian White losses, which were very, very hard to bounce back from. There's been numerous fights, but he's grown from each setback, and he's learned his lessons, and this has led him to the point of where he's at now. He's in unbelievable shape, Cougs. He's in unbelievable shape. It's the best I've seen him, not just physically, but the most important thing with Del is mentally, and it's the best I've seen him. He's so calm, he's so relaxed, he's happy, and that's the sign of a dangerous fighter, in my opinion.
Is this fight to tell us? This fight is to tell us more about Usyk than Chisora. Surely we know. Yeah, you said that earlier on.
I keep saying, I keep touching on. Most of the questions on Saturday night have to be answered by Alexander Usyk, not Usyk-Chisora. We know what Usyk-Chisora brings. We know what he's good at. We know how strong he is. We know how durable he is. We don't know them answers to Alexander Usyk in this division. We know he's the best cruiserweight possibly that's ever lived. He is, in my opinion. We know that, but he's now going in with a fighter who's renowned for giving problems to world-class heavyweights, and the one who gives problems to world-class heavyweights isn't even the fighter we're talking about who's going to turn up on Saturday night. It's a different ball game, mate. He's in unbelievable shape. He's driven. He's motivated. I can't wait.
Not long to find out. Do like to talk to you about other issues outside of fight week. No, but it's nice to get your take on things because you talk honestly, and you don't really pull any punches. But you would have noticed in the last week some notable interviews from Kell Brook and Joe Gallagher with comments towards Sky Sports, towards Eddie Hearn.
Okay, so
what have you made of?
As you know, I don't really watch the interviews, as you know. So can you inform me of what's being said, and then you'll get me a response.
To be honest, if you haven't watched it, there's no point in us having this conversation. If you don't know what was said, which I don't believe you do, I do believe you know what was said.
I know snippets of what's said. I've heard some of the stories. So
from what you know, because it's probably the gist.
From what I know, The first one is Joe Gallagher accused Matchroom of being racist, which is absolute lunacy and disgraceful. Racism. The face of the organisation is black. The most powerful fighter we have is black, or am I mistaken? Since Matchroom has begun, I would say most of, the fighters are black. Where does that shout come from, racism? So that's first off is the most ridiculous thing. I did see a snippet of why are boxers taking pay cuts. Now, to answer that snippet, well, Joe, if professional footballers are taking pay cuts, let's remember, professional football governs this country. It's the most important aspect of our country is Premier League football. If them players are taking pay cuts, then where do you think, what do you think is going to happen to a lesser sport in boxing? It's unbelievable. It's unreal to think that that can't happen. What's putting these bills on? We're down on crowds. We've got no crowds. So I know how many millions of pounds are lost on gates because I've had to take them on board and see it and deal with it. So, let's just say a fight happens in the MEN. I know what the gate costs, and it's the millions of pounds in a gate at the MEN. It's multi-millions of pounds. On the gate at the O2, the promoters lost that. How are we paying people? How are people getting paid? I think it's fantastic, and I would never usually say this, but I'm going to say it, even though I'm probably going to regret it. But you've got to give credit to the likes of Matchroom and Eddie M, because they're a different ball game to all the others in this country, I believe, in my opinion, because they're doing it globally. Eddie's putting shows on in Italy, Eddie's putting shows on in America, Eddie's putting shows on in England, all over the place putting shows on. But fair play to Frank Warren and what he's doing. He's going out of his way. And let me tell you, they're losing hand over foot on the money, by the way. Every promoter who's putting shows on is losing money at the minute. I don't care who you are, what you're putting on, you're losing money. You can go on, we've got a pay-per-view platform, but so has everyone else got a pay-per-view platform. So has BT now, I believe. So they're still losing hand over foot on the money. But these promoters are putting it on. So credit where credit's due. Frank's doing it as well, Eddie's doing it, MTK are doing it. Losing hand over foot on the money all the time. And they're still putting these fights on. And then for someone like Joe Gallagher to come out and say, it's bordering on racist, I don't understand where that shout's come from. It's insane. It is insane. The one thing that doesn't happen in boxing is racism. It's the one sport where racism doesn't play any part in boxing. Boxing has been run for how long? By black fighters. The best fighters in the world have generally been black. The most powerful boxer that's ever graced the earth, the most highest grossing earning boxer that's ever touched the earth is a black man. His name is Floyd Mayweather. What planet are you on to think that there's racism? You just amaze me at times. It really does. So that touches on that one with Joe. I don't really get it. I just don't know what else to say. I mean, is there any other things that can be touched upon? So there was the race.
Well, no, there was. Well, if we're moving away,
fighters aren't getting out. Well, I manage how many fighters, and mine aren't getting out. Well, I had to take a last-minute notice job for Mishak Spear the other week. He told me he was fit. He obviously weren't, but he'll learn from that. Believe you me, we'll learn from it. I can't get dates for my fighters. Eddie's offering people opportunities. If you look at half of the fights that are being made in these fight camps, they're not all Matchroom fighters. Do you know why that is? Because the Matchroom fighters are happy to sit back on some of the Matchroom fighters are happy to sit back on the contracts and know they're getting paid anyway, and go, I don't want to fight in front of no crowds. What the fuck? Fight. If you're a fighter, fight. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's in front of no crowd or fucking a big crowd. Just fucking fight. If the unified heavyweight champion of the world is willing to fight in front of no fans, why aren't you? Ask the fighters. Unbelievable. So we'll see. As I say, I'm just amazed at some of the comments that come out of people, and I say that these promoters and as you know, I would never big up other things like that, especially people who haven't got on with over the years. But sometimes it's just looking at you in the face. Just say it how it is. and they're doing unbelievable, the promoters in this country at the minute. I've just named the 3 of them, MTK, Frank and Eddie. Full massive credit to them, they really are. They're keeping boxing alive because no one gives a shit about the boxers. Do you think boxers are getting fair load, kooks? No one gives a shit about boxers getting fair load. No one gives a shit. Boxers with families, car payments, mortgages. You're not fighting, you're not earning. They're skint. And it's heartbreaking. My mate, my man, Usyk-Chisora, told me he was fit. Said he'd been in the gym. Spoke to his coach, yeah, he's been in doing a bit of sparring, a bit of running. But the fact of the matter is he's exhausted after 3 rounds. Because he's working, he's got a job, he's helping other kids, he's doing what he's doing. And the reason he takes the fight is because he doesn't have the money, Cougs. He's got 4 kids to feed. And he hasn't got a pot to piss in, and times are hard, and this is what you've got to do. So they're taking fights, and this is what I'm saying. Usyk-Chisora ain't getting fair load, mate. You know, I don't know a boxer who's getting fair load. And you know, the sad thing is, everyone in our country, I say, it's governed by football. Everyone's talking about football. You know, this sport gets fair load. These people get fair load. I haven't heard one politician, not one person of anything, say anything about the boxers. Because believe it or not, the boxers have got families, you know. The boxers have got mortgages. The boxers have got cars that need paying for. But no one talks about the boxing community. The only people that are talking about the boxing community is them 3 promoters that I've just said. And then you've got a boxing coach coming out saying that, you know, my fighters aren't getting out. I think you'd have a chance to have a fighter out. I'm not going to get involved in the politics of fighters getting out, but we had it all set for Sam Hyde to face Craig Glover. Everything was done. It was all sorted. And then it got pulled. And Craig Glover then takes on Chris Billam-Smith. Doesn't work out for my guy, but as usual, my boys are willing to face anyone and everyone. You can't have things in your favour all the time. Yes, you've had champions in your stable, but come back down to reality, you've still got champions in your stable. Don't alienate yourself and don't turn people against your brilliant fighters in your stable because of the way you behave. Always forget, a fighter employs you. You do not employ the fighter. The fighter's the boss. And this is what some people need to remember in boxing. No boxers, no business. This sport can't go on without boxers. Simple as that. So, you know, just remember who the important ones are here. It's the fighters. As for, I'm gutted that Tasha's not fighting for the world title because I spoke to people inside the circle and I was told everything was agreed. I really wanted to see Tasha fight. If anyone deserves it, it's Tasha Jonas. So I want to see Tasha fighting for that world title. Brilliant fighter. Done amazing last time out. And I just want to see her get a shot again.
My part of the other question were in regards to interviews over the last week. What have you made of the whole Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn situation?
It's mad and it's sad. Kell's had an amazing run. I like Kell Brook. And a brilliant fighter. Make no mistake about that. I did see the little thing of Eddie's too busy signing books. Kell, that's called business, mate. You know business as well as anyone. From what I can, from looking from the outside, looking in, it's a scene of he's made this fight basically himself. So I've always been very adamant on this throughout my whole career. I'm a boxer. I box. Eddie Hearn's my promoter. He promotes. Fortunately enough, I was my manager. I managed. But don't cross over these jobs. Let the promoter promote, let the manager manage, and let the trainer train. Boxing as a business, it's like the inside of a clock. The mechanisms turn, and one clicks the other one, clicks the other one, clicks the other one. The cogs turn, the wheels turn, whatever have you. But you have to let each cog do its job. Let each wheel turn and make the connection with the other wheel to make the other wheel work. You can't have one wheel turn, taking control of everything. It just doesn't work. In boxing, as I said before, let the promoter be the promoter. So I don't understand why Kell has jumped off, or you've got a great thing going here. You had a great thing going here, in my opinion. Kell's earned fortunes, always been well paid. Fought anyone and everyone, fought the best middleweight in the world when he was the best welterweight in the world, in my opinion. Went out there and faced, as I say, the best middleweight in the world. So he's had ample opportunities, he's had loads of time. I have nothing nasty to say about Kell. The only thing I would have said is you know, you had a perfect team. Why split it up? Was it for the sake of getting that little bit more? I don't know. But it's a travesty that it's not on our TV channel, but at the same time, in reality, whose fault is it? Because if you're still with us here at Matchroom, it would have been on Sky Sports. What made you feel you needed to jump ship? You're part of the biggest platform in Europe, in the world, in my opinion. You're on a global stage, a global platform. That fight would have went out to the zone globally and would have went on live on Sky Sports over here. Could it have gone box office? Possibly, yeah. I don't see why not. So what was you trying to save by not keeping with your team that you've had for most of your, you know, for the whole second half of your career? What was you trying to do? I don't know. Only he could answer them things.
So, Tony, just to point out, I think, according to Eddie, that Sky did knock this back as a pay-per-view because they've obviously got like 3 pay-per-views between now and the end of the year, and as far as I know, they knocked it back.
So they knocked it back a pay-per-view. Well, what I'll guarantee is they'd have still got more from a regular fight night than they would have off where it's going at now. Because I know how boxing works, especially at that kind of level. When you get to box office and you're dealing with big numbers, and you look over the spreadsheets and you see what's going where and what's coming in. Just a Matchroom show is just a bigger platform. From your ringside sponsorships to the names on your shorts to the brands on the ring, everything is just bigger and there's more money, Cougs. And you're talking to someone who deals from experience. So I've seen, when you get the spreadsheet at the end of a show, I've seen what the numbers are. I've seen what the sponsorships are paying. I've seen how much you're getting off the TV. I've seen what this fighter gets paid. I've seen what the undercard here makes. For him to come away from the Matchroom brand and then, by all what it looks like from the outside, then you're doing it on your own thing. You've caught yourself out, mate. It's madness. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You had a great thing, a great setup going. I mean, if I was him, I still don't think it's too late. Just put your tail between your legs and make a phone call. You've made a mistake. Everyone makes them. I don't see why not. As I said, he's a good kid, Kell. I get on with him. They never spoke to me since the Errol Spence fight, but I still think he's a good lad. And it is what it is. Everyone's got an opinion. Opinions are like arseholes, Coog. Everyone's got one. Can I go and get a shower now? I'm sweating my bollocks off.
You can in a minute. Just one more question for you. You can answer it as quick as you want. Johnny Nelson believes that we won't see Deontay Wilder in a ring again. What do you think about that?
Don't believe that. He won't want to go out the way he did. But what does Johnny know that we don't? What's prompted Johnny to say that? Has Johnny been living out in the Housewives of Beverly Hills? Is that the show he's on?
He just comes up with some random bollocks sometimes.
Isn't Deontay Wilder on one of them shows? Just Housewives or something?
I don't know.
Shawnee Bear told me he was. I don't know, but if he is, I don't know. Good luck to him. Whatever he chooses to do. He's earned the right few quid. He's had a good go. Anyone who fights for Al Heyman's earned the right few quid. So, good luck to him, mate. You know, he's dangerous. He will always be dangerous. That fucker could take 3 years out of boxing, come back and then start at the heavyweight champion with a punch. He has that freaky power. So,
but you're not surprised that the Fury Wilder fight isn't going to happen this year? Or at all, by the looks of it?
I'm not surprised that won't happen purely because of the people that Deontay Wilder has look after him. They are money men. These aren't people that are in the boxing because, you know, it's ingrained in them. These are money men. These will purely break down figures and go, that works, that doesn't work. And without a crowd, it doesn't work. So, you know, I get that. I understand there's nothing wrong with that at all because boxing is ultimately a business. But at the same time, you see what we're doing here and you go, well, there's no one who breaks numbers down better than a fucking accountant. And that's what Matchroom starts with, an accountant. And that's how you look at it, and it's just, you know, no one can break numbers down like them, and they still going ahead with it and doing it. That's purely because of the love of the sport, the way they drive it, the way they do it. the promotional tool behind it all. It's just unbelievable. The amount of people are on this workforce is madness. And fair play to them all. They all work very hard. And even Longlegs works his arse off, to be fair. I mean, he won't see this because he'd never watch my interview. But believe you me, mate, he works his arse off. I don't watch the interviews anymore. I should do, but I just don't, Cougs. I just don't have the time. I've got 4 kids, mate. 4.
Fucking hurt, to be honest with you. That's like me telling and going, yeah, I never really used to watch Bellew's
I used
fights.
to watch all of mine, me and you.
I'm only joking.
That's actually a lie. That's a bad lie. I shouldn't have said that. I don't ever watch my own interviews back. I've seen you do a few over the years. I'm trying to think. I've seen a few. I've seen people have sent me them and they go, "Oh, lads, you have to see this one." And I've ended up watching it, but I could never watch myself back. I mean, ever. That's embarrassing. But do you watch your interviews back?
Never, unless someone said something in it that I thought, like you probably over the years. 10 years today, mate.
It's amazing what you've done. Brilliant. Well done. Congratulations. Keep watching. That's the only thing I could say is have helped, deliver some amazing content for boxing. You've revived people's careers. You've helped grow the sport even more. Your social media platforms are brilliant. And then also, your sponsors have been backing you from nearly day one in MTK.
7 years.
It's a long ass time. So fair play to them, mate. They've done a great job with you as well. All round is pretty good. All as I'd say now is just learn to have an opinion more instead of shitting yourself and sitting on the fence.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You fucking said that. So why am I going to start being like the brash, opinionated one?
You pick and choose when you do it. You do have an opinion.
No, I don't. You never see me call fights like that. I'll back a Brit. That's all I'll do. If a Brit's going against anyone else, I'll back the Brit.
Right, I need to go and get a shower, and then I think we're doing some kind of tournament now, aren't we?
Go on then. Yeah, we're doing darts. You're playing Adam Smith. I'm playing Eddie Hearn. Go and get yourself sorted. Tony Bellew, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you soon.
AFL TV, we film stuff in cooperation with MTK Global.
Thank you very much.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.